Barcelona beat Tottenham Hotspur 4 goals to 2 in a comeback win in the Gamper Trophy. In this video, we'll be taking a look at some of the tactics that Barcelona tried and Xavi actually implemented. But before we do, if you're new around here, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. We upload at least 3 times a week tactical and news content regarding FC Barcelona, although we focus a lot more on the tactical content. So let's see how Xavi is trying to adjust to a game-to-game basis based on how the opposition play, even though his core tactics remain the same. Let's get right into the video and start with the analysis. As always, Barcelona look to have like a back three with the goalkeeper. But because of Oriol Romeo's and Frenkie de Jong's position, Richarlison and Lo Celso on these two pivots of Barcelona so that they can actually defend like in a 4-4-2 formation. However, this was really easy for Barcelona to get around it because then the goalkeeper could easily just go towards the fullbacks and they can even have like the centre backs to come into play here. However, Tottenham's answer to this was to have Richarlison and Lo Celso pushing up extremely high, but at the same time have their two midfielders come on to Barcelona's pivot. And therefore Barcelona, if the pivot was really narrow, the wingers Solomon and Perisic would come in narrow as well in order to close down the gap in the middle. However, at the same time, these guys were actually tasked with being narrow, but at the same time, if the ball would go out, then they would actually press to get the ball and get pressure onto the far side fullback, whereas Lo Celso and Richarlison would then switch over to this side to make Barcelona play on the one side of the pitch. Barcelona then would split Eric Garcia and Koundé extremely wide in order to draw Tottenham to defend with a front three, with Richarlison coming up, and it would either be Skip to go forward, but for the most part it was Perisic. This allowed Araujo and Balde to go up a lot more, but it was mainly Pedri who would come back deep, and then Oriol and Frenkie would have their normal back three, midfield three, where they could easily receive the ball from Ter Stegen. But Frenkie de Jong used to drop deep, receive the ball, and then Garcia would get the ball where he would actually draw out Solomon and then afterwards release the ball to Alejandro Balde, who would then look to come out with the ball from here. Up until this point, nothing really happened for FC Barcelona, but Xavi made the changes in order to sway the game in favor of us. Let's see how the changes impacted the game in favor of Barca. In the second half, the principles for Barca were exactly the same. Split the centre backs extremely wide, force the opposition into a front three in order of pressing, have Oriol, Frenkie and Gundogan in this case to receive the ball in the region right over here. However, Ansu Fati was extremely narrow in this position, where he would actually be like in the front two with Ferran Torres, where Abde was on the right. And because Barcelona also has this back three with Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, we saw that it was Alonso that was very narrow, almost like inverted fullback. We had like a 3-man attacking midfield for Barca. Ferran Torres and Ansu Fati would do opposite movements where they would come close to the ball. But for the main part, Barcelona played to the right hand side through Abde, which would like to actually take these guys on in one-on-one situations. This made Barcelona much better. We also saw that Lamine Yamal came from that right-hand side to take on the opposition. Because of the natural numerical advantage Barcelona had because of Gavi's inverting and also Alonso playing a little bit narrow, Tottenham started defending extremely narrow in a 4-3-3 formation. This is to defend better, and also we saw that Fati was playing a lot more narrow than usual where Alonso would go out. This allowed Frenkie de Jong to come outside between Garcia and Alonso to receive the ball in this region. And we saw that Ansu Fati and Ferran Torres were making opposite movements. If Fati would come into midfield in order to make up the third man or the fourth player, we saw that Ferran Torres would look to go in behind where he could easily receive the ball from Frankie de Jong, But this nevertheless almost never happened. But we did see that Fati operated in this area right here, where him and Gundogan would push up a little bit higher to leave Update to get isolated up one-on-one against Porro. Oriol Romeo just did the normal circulating of the ball. So this was more or less Barcelona's structure when they were in the mid phase. If the ball would go up higher, Sergio Roberto would actually go slightly inverted, playing in the half space right here in order to draw Skip or Perisic to stay on him, where Barcelona's centre-backs would easily be freed, and Oriol Romeo would actually drop into between the centre-backs as well, or he would stay in his position just to circulate the ball. From here onward, you could see that Barcelona gained momentum, and we ended up scoring 3 more goals because of the structure. Fati's movement were immaculate. If Ferran Torres was out wide, he could easily go into the striker position. So these two guys were almost like strikers, along with Gundogan and also Alonso keeping the width on the side right here. The main changes from that game wasn't so big or difficult, it was just the fact that Upday and Lamine Yamal was great in their one-on-one situations. And of course the fact that Tottenham was really trash in this game. They could have won if they just had another midfielder. They played 4-4-2 with Lo Celso like a number 10 who is also like an attacker. So Barcelona could really be direct against them, especially through the midfield, and just cut clean through them. But let us know down in the comment section what do you guys think about the game. Also about the tactics, about preseason as a whole. We need to discuss the preseason as a whole as well, what we've learned from that. But let me know down in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Goodbye.